Jesus revealed through the breaking of bread. In Luke chapter 24, we find the story of the resurrection. In that story, we find two disciples walking down the road headed to a town called Emmaus. And as they were walking, they were recalling all the events that had occurred over the last few days, even the word that they had heard that morning. They had found an empty tomb where Jesus was buried. As they were talking and discussing, scripture says that Jesus drew near to them and listened in. He hid himself from them, so he was incognito, but yet something familiar about this stranger that happened to walk alongside them and ask them questions. The disciples, happily obliged, they explained to Jesus all the things that had occurred and even the word that they got that day. So Jesus, patient, humble, incognito, decides to tell them and say, isn't the scriptures say, isn't this what the scriptures speak of? He walked them through from Moses through the prophets on why the Christ had to die. When the disciples came to their exit of the road, they invited Jesus to stay with them, even though he wanted to carry on. But Jesus welcomed their invitation, and they broke bread at a table. Now, it's this incident that really strikes me, because as they sat at the table, Jesus did four things that made him famous anytime he touched bread. He took the bread, he blessed the bread, broke it, and gave it. Now, when Jesus did this, he couldn't hide himself from them anymore, because as soon as this happened, it was like the light bulb went out, their eyes were open, and they saw who he was. And then he vanished. As they were thinking like, whoa, that was Jesus. And they're like, isn't that why we felt something in our hearts so familiar yet strange while we were speaking to Jesus about the scriptures? So they knew it was like they had known all along, but it took the breaking of bread for Christ to be revealed fully to them. What does this mean for us today? So, for us today, it's one thing to talk about scriptures and teach scriptures, have a devotion to the scriptures, and that is important. But the next level, to find Christ fully revealed, we have to interact not just with the person of Jesus Christ, but with one another through sharing meals, even through taking and breaking of the bread with one another.